That's been our discussions. Tri-State kind of holds the reins right now. But
Would you talk into the microphone, please?
okay, Tri-State kind of holds the reins right now. They kind of guide where we can go and where we can't go. But we won't get anything changed unless we keep approaching them for a different way of handling things. I don't know, that's a big issue. I don't know how we're gonna handle it, because we've discussed it several times.
Okay, BJ?
There are many other suppliers other than Tri-State, so I think we always have to maintain an open and honest communication with Tri-State about the benefits that they can offer us in providing electricity to this area. I think you always have to be able to negotiate with them. Right now, our contract says we can generate 5%, if I understand it correct, 5% of renewable energies. We have a lot of spots that we can regenerate or generate additional electricity, but we don't have, I don't think, if you put it all together, we don't have enough power unless we went to a coal power or a gas power plant that we could distribute electricity to all the members of the tri-state area. So I think that we need to be and concentrate on being a distributing association and work well and try to work better with the companies that are providing us with electricity. Now, does that mean we could change companies? Maybe so, but I think Tri-State's done a pretty good job, and all companies are subject to surprises such as Mean and Delta when they instituted a 12.8% raise power rate. And so I think we need to stay where we're at.
Thank you. Sue?
Well, I think as a board member, I would look at all different ideas, whether we could do some kind of generation of power locally versus getting our power from Tri-State like we do, and just determine which is the most efficient, effective, and cost effective, so that we don't raise our rates out of the roof if we were to just start generating our own power. But if we could do it effectively and cost effectively, it would make a lot of sense. But if we can't do that, then we should definitely try and negotiate a better percentage of power that we can generate ourselves, because right now we're butting up against the 5% with the canal project.
Jenny?
I would love to see DMEA be able to produce more renewable energies. Sadly, we are butting up against a very small 5% with Tri-State, and I would hope that we would be able to renegotiate that down the line to get a bigger number.
Thank you. David?
Yes, one of the reasons I want to be on the board is I believe that the geography and the conditions are right in these two counties that we could actually generate enough electricity here and be a net exporter. And heavens knows we need jobs in these two counties. And if there's anything we can do to either start producing more green energy ourselves, or even if we could talk Tri-State into coming into the area and building some energy projects here instead of building coal-fired power plants in Kansas. So that would be one of my emphasis. Thank you.
John?
I feel that the Tri-State contract is somewhat archaic and doesn't reflect the realities of today's industry. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see photovoltaics and wind power below grid parity with utility power. So I think it's incumbent that we really look at where these industries are going, because just look at the PV industry, photovoltaics. It's a $70 billion a year industry. And last year, the U.S. installed more photovoltaics than the previous 30 years combined. So I think it's very healthy to encourage distributed generation. And I also feel that, I keep losing my mic. I very much support local generation, because every kilowatt hour we can generate internally is one less kilowatt hour we have to buy from Tri-State. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the audience that you would like to ask? Did I see it? Dave, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel that, you know, the 5%, the 5% generation of the green energy is really low. I think that, you know, if we could get, then that there is some legislation in the works that maybe could change part of that. You know, if we could work with Tri-State and get that to 10, it would, you know, make some of these jobs that we're doing right now feasible for, you know, a DMEA switch over, and I think there's a lot of potential in this valley for, you know, solar energy is okay, but it doesn't work at night very well without a different battery. So, you know, we need the hydroelectric generators to fill in.
Thank you, Steve. Now I will ask, are there any other questions from the audience? Connie?
I guess I would just ask, what do you feel is the greatest challenge coming before the DMEA board? I mean, all aspects. I mean, obviously, I mean, the solar power is. I mean, alternative energy is one. But I mean, I guess looking at the whole spectrum, what do you feel is the greatest challenge that you would be facing as a board member?
Thank you. We will start with, I guess I'll start with Terry.
I think DMEA is going to have to be.
Use the microphone, please.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. I think DMEA has to be more efficient. I don't know how they can do that. It seems like they're doing the best they can. It's going to be real competitive out there, like they've been saying. The solar and the hydro is going to be an issue that they're going to have to join up with or be able to combat. It's going to be very serious here in the next few years.
Thank you. BJ?
I guess, not being a member of the board, I'm not aware of all of the issues that are facing the board, but right now I feel like after observing and being a part of some things that happened last year, I think board unity is important. I think setting appropriate goals and moving forward. I think working with clean, green energy things are very important. We need to be cognizant of that. I mean, building a power plant on Surface Creek is going to be challenged environmentally, and those type of things that we have to work with and work through. I believe we have to work with keeping employee morale high. I believe we have to work in making sure we have a good manager that we're going to be able to set appropriate goals and move forward. I think there's several things that are facing DMEA right now, and I'd like to be a part of bringing all of those things together.
Thank you. Jenny?
Oh, there's so many things, just the learning curve. Having to learn all the aspects and having employees, because we currently don't have employees. But I think for the future, the alternative power would be a huge project to take, and I think it's a very important one.
Thank you. Sue?
I think the greatest challenge that DMEA faces is keeping rates down for its member shareholders, and I would definitely work towards that goal if I become on the board. There's a lot of other challenges the board will be meeting. They have a new CEO that starts next week, so that will be a new challenge for the board, but I think they will do well with it. But like I said, I think the most important thing is keeping the rates low and also keeping the employee morale high. That's huge. We need to have our employees happy so they're out there fixing the power when it goes down in the middle of the night like a couple nights ago.
Thank you. John, we'll start with you.
I think the challenges that DMEA will face in the future are going to be significant. I think if you just look at some of the articles that have been in the national news the last few days, you can see that there is going to be some regulatory change on the horizon that are going to cause this industry to have to morph. You know, and I was saying earlier, you know, I watched the same thing happen with the breakup of the Bell system, and it was a tremendously wrenching time. But if you look at the innovation that happened afterwards, it led to huge opportunities. And I think the power utility business is facing kind of the same set of opportunities. It's going to be painful, but if we have intelligent, you know, innovative people, you know, looking at the issues and coming up with the right answer,